What's up, y'all? It's Crypto Kenzie, man. Man, y'all already know what time it is. It's time for Crypto and Culture. Let's go. So just tell me a little more about yourself, a little bit more about your background.
Sure. So my name is Melissa Jones. I'm new to the blockchain industry. I currently work in IT as a database administrator, specifically with SQL Server, and getting into some open source database systems as well. And that led my curiosity into blockchain, because we all know that, or some of us do, that blockchains are essentially at their core a database system. And so in going through that, I've kind of led me here to the Black in Blockchain Summit, where I can learn more about blockchain and what's going on in our industry and our communities.
All right, so now, before we got into camera, you were talking about how we should get our younger audiences into this. So tell me more about why you think it's the younger audiences, the ones that may reap the benefits of the things that we're building today.
Absolutely. So I think that the key to mass adoption for blockchain technology, especially in our communities, is to get our young people involved, get them ramped up on the educational side of blockchain and what it can do for us as a society. And so get them involved early. It's part of the early adoption or mass adoption process that we need to implement, is to get young people, teenagers, high schoolers, middle schoolers, interested in blockchain, how they can use it, how they can develop it, because those are the tinkerers and technologists of today. And so, once a kid learns something, they're on top of it usually. We see that with Fortnite and Minecraft and all those different things that they can jump into and really force the development almost into a new era. And so I'm excited for that, and I want to be a part of that structure that introduces blockchain to a new generation.
All right, so now, private blockchain or public blockchain, what is your perception on that?
Sure. So I think there's a need for both. I think that there are use cases for private blockchains that can benefit certain groups, especially our underbanked communities. We've talked a lot about hedge funds here at the summit, and how even if you want to relate it back to popular culture, I think one Nipsey Hussle in his Buy the Block campaign or message, that would be something that would benefit greatly from a private blockchain, where investors can come together and support their own communities. You don't need to be a billionaire. You don't need to be, a talented sports figure making millions and millions of dollars. People living in the communities themselves can invest in the communities and build them, and then get the equity back from those communities, and continue the circle and the cycle. Aside from that, I think one of the biggest implementations that I personally would love to see of a public blockchain is to put law enforcement on the blockchain.
Ooh.
I want to see, from the date of hire throughout their entire length with a law enforcement unit, I want your psychological scores, your test scores. When was your weapon fired? How was it fired? How many bullets did you fire? All of that information should be contained, immutable, on a blockchain, so that when you commit or you have certain community complaints against you in a certain district, you can't just pick up and go to another district and get employed. And so those standards and those restrictions can be implemented and keep our communities safer, and possibly get some of that trust back between our underserved communities or over-policed communities and police departments themselves, because I do think there is a need for a law enforcement entity in the United States. I just don't think that they're here to serve us, and we can change that through a public blockchain, where cops and police departments and government officials are held accountable, because that information is there for everyone to see. So when a new officer comes into my neighborhood, I should be able to tell where he came from, what his record with the community is like, and I shouldn't have to pay for it, and it shouldn't be a hurdle.
All right, perfect. Now, where can they find you once again?
Sure, you can find me at blockchainnovice.com. It's a blog that I created to help with the outreach and education, especially for young people. It's easy, layman's terms, ways of understanding what is blockchain, the components of blockchain, and how we can use it and benefit from it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you.
No, definitely. No, now I'm gonna want to. No, the moment